thing. Hello, and welcome to Eileen News Update, February 4th, 2011, Episode 1, YouTube Edition. I'm your main anchor, Erik Olson.
And I'm your co-anchor, Eileen Meier.
So, Eileen, since you're the this is your first time doing Eileen News Update, how does it feel to be a co-anchor instead of just a random participant in the last episode of
Actually, it feels pretty exciting.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way. Well, let's get on to today's top headline, shall we?
Alright.
Alright. Alright. Internet shutdown in lure of Egyptian revolt. Wow, they actually shut down the internet. I guess someone didn't pay their bills. What's your take on that?
Wow, that's a big change. Shutting down the internet.
Yes.
I mean, all those people making millions of dollars like Facebook going down the toilet.
Yes. A very long or big toilet, yeah. Well, anyway, let's move on to this week's top 4 headlines. Number 1. Snake missing for a month, found on a Boston subway. Now, I read more into the story, and apparently, this woman had a boa constrictor as a pet around her neck, and just somehow slithered away from her. And then a month later, a rider saw in one of the cars, and it's like, who would bring a snake that's not in a cage in a closed subway car? What's your take on it, Eileen?
I'd say somebody with no brains would bring a snake out of a man. Yeah, no, that's not
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah. I mean, so if that snake was poisonous and someone got bitten, Lord knows.
She could be like charged for her own pet murdering people.
Yeah, that would be pretty.
Kind of funny.
Yeah.
I'm in jail for pet poisoning somebody.
Yeah. Well, what can you say? And number 2 on the list. Student back in class following suspension for a Facebook post. Now, I read more into the story, and apparently the kid, called the teacher a douchebag because of extra homework or something like that. Now, if it was more like a threat to the school that it disrupted, or if it's a bomb threat or he threatened to kill her, then I would be worried and would offer a suspension. But calling a teacher a douchebag is kind of like free speech. It's your First Amendment, and he's entitled to post that about his teacher. It's not a positive thing, but I don't know. What's your take on it, Eileen?
Well, I admit, I think people should be able to say what they want, what they feel like, because, I had a teacher that was a douchebag that decided to kick me out for my disability, and that was wrong of him. And if people, there's people out there who are douchebags and deserve, they get bad karma.
Yeah. More interesting stories between teachers and students, though never cease to amaze us. And going on for number 3. Happy Groundhog Day! Punxsutawney Phil in Punxsutawney, PA predicts an early spring. Now, if anyone watches well, not watches, but goes to my Twitter page, they would have saw on the night of the big snowstorm that I posted. If you think that Punxsutawney Phil is gonna say that we're gonna have 6 more weeks of winter and this big snowstorm, then actually, now I lost my train of thought. But I said I predicted an early spring and no refunds. Well, anyway, just go to my Twitter page and you'll find out the joke there. But what's your take on this, Eileen?
Well, it's very rare that we have early spring. The last 5 years have been, 6 more weeks of winter. Yay! Now it's like, yay, we get early spring and more flowers.
Yeah. And our last headline for today: Chicago car salesman fired for wearing a Packers tie. Now, I read more into the story, and the dealership were promoting the Chicago Bears. And the owner thought, well, wearing that Packers tie might, cause some things with the customers. But the car salesman who was wearing the Packers ties was in respect of his late grandmother or mother or something, It was kind of like, a thing he couldn't break, a promise that he made, He was just respecting his grandmother or mother's wishes. So he got fired for it. What's that tell you? What's your take on that, Eileen?
Man, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's all I can think. That sucks.
Oh, okay. Well, that's it for Ellen News. This part of Ellen News Update. Right after this, we will have our 5-minute break. After a 5-minute break, we'll be right back with a special guest, and Eileen Myers will be conducting the interview. So, that's it for Ellen News Update, February 4th, 2011, Episode 1, YouTube Edition. I'm your anchor, Erik Olson.
And I'm your co-anchor, Eileen Meier.
And we'll be right back after our 5-minute break. Congratulations, Eileen. Hello, everybody. I'm Erik Olson. You just heard me on Ellen News Update over my nice PowerPoint presentation slides with my new co-anchor, Eileen Meier. Now, and this is the new 5-minute break. Of course, it's not labeled working late night shifts, electronic billboards. Actually, Erik Months of Late Night Productions, electronic billboard now. Because right now I'm not currently doing working a late night shift right now because my buddy Samuel decided to wash his hands with it, and now I can't go to the meetings because they're not going to pick me up anymore. I don't have a car, so yeah. And you probably, if you visit my Facebook page, you probably see that I'm not friends with them no more. So, but anyways, to do a little background check on, we didn't really record on February 4th, 2011, Ellen News Update. We actually did it the other night, and it was pretty much just a test and see if she understood how to do Ellen News Update, even though she was only a part of Working the Late Night Shift, episode 7, which is the episode where I did, one of the episodes that I did, well actually, more in point, it was the last episode that I did at MCTI, the little college that I went to. Well, it's actually not a college, it's kind of like a vocational school. But, anyways, it, she did alright. Though I have to mention to her to boost up her mic file because, well, unfortunately, you can hardly hear just a bit. Because it was going through my, it was actually, we were doing voice chat over Yahoo, and it was going through my laptop speakers. I have external speakers, but I wasn't using them at the time. Maybe I'll use them next time, maybe, if she can't boost up her phone anymore. But you know, it was a good test and it was a good run through. And I just used the questions that I had was going to use for February 4th, which I didn't get to, because, well, first I was going to do these do Eileen News Update live on Ustream.tv. Unfortunately, there was a guy who wanted me to do something while I was in the middle of a show recording. I had to delete the account, but I didn't delete the page for some odd reason, so I had to create a new account. And I just didn't get around to dubbing my Microsoft PowerPoint presentation slides for Eileen News Update and posting them to YouTube. So this is basically was a test, and it was a good run through. She's definitely better than my longtime fan of Eileen of the Late Night Variety show, David Smith Doubleday. Totally better. No offense, David. Well, I'm running out of time here, as you can see here on my somewhat timer. See, it's about, this is usually about 3 minutes and 55 seconds, and then have to, well, yeah. Well, I ran out of time. I'll explain later in the next video, okay? See you guys.